Warning. Warning. You are about to enter the propaganda report.
Right out of the gate with technical difficulties, how I always like to start. This is a propaganda report, an emergency show, as they call them. Mark 16:5-7. As they entered the tomb, they saw a young man dressed in a white robe sitting on the right side, and they were alarmed. "Don't be alarmed," he said. "You're looking for Kimmel of Disney, who was nailed to the cross. He has risen. He is no longer here. See the place where they laid him. It is empty. But go, tell the disciples and Peter, he is going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will see him just as he told you, defeating MAGA. For it is Kimmel of Disney, Kimmel the reborn, Kimmel the righteous, who will protect us all and all of God's people from the satanic attack of the Nazis. In the name of our Father, our Son, and our Holy Kimmel. Amen." What's up, Stoner? Thank you. I didn't mean to get a haircut like this. I just started snipping away at it. And I learned yet again in my life that when you do that, and then you take a shower, you come out looking like you got a bob, and your name is Debbie. So then you shave the whole thing. It is hard to believe he's on the Man Show. Isn't it interesting just how that doesn't matter, all of the stuff, all his blackface and all that? I personally don't care about any of it. That's what media has been for a long time. But he can be part of condemning similar behavior despite the mountain of evidence of him doing the same thing to build his career and get to where he is. But compartmentalization is a very powerful thing. But Jimmy Kimmel did make his triumphant return last evening. And, oh yeah, kind of get, with a haircut, you kind of get that Philadelphia Phillies Karen vibe. Actually, that's exactly the vibe I had, so I had to shave it. Kimmel returned to celebrations after having a couple of days off, and there were grand celebrations. There was tears, there was cheers, probably a few queers, definitely a couple beers, a message he delivered that people were pretend to revere. Can't think of any more words that rhyme with those. I'm sure they exist. I don't know if you saw any of this. I'm going to play clips from it because it just came out a little while ago. Kimmel's, the reaction that he got, the hero's welcome, and the ratings he's going to get from this, which will be the best ratings he's gotten in years and will be the best ratings he will get, he should quit today because it's going to be a water slide down after this. The whole thing is like a stunt. Probably was a stunt. To boost ratings for a night. It's just so ridiculous. Like he was risen from the dead. This is one of the most blatant examples of manufactured news that you're ever going to see. It's so stupid and dumbed down. It's like, how dumb can we make this shit and see who goes along with it? It's just so stupid. Oh, Jimmy's back! Oh! He wasn't even gone. He was never gone. No! How many celebrities signed it, made videos, somber videos? We are all Jimmy. Colbert, of course Colbert did it. Letterman, come on. It's so stupid. And this is the best thing that ever happened to Jimmy Kimmel. So let me show you some of this monologue. I'm not going to show the whole thing. It's like 30 minutes. Because, you got to do an extended monologue when you've been gone for so long. There was one part I didn't disagree with, but I'll start with the parts that I did disagree with. Senator says, can we talk about the Detroit Tigers collapse their season? I can't believe the Braves swept them, honestly. Of course, the Braves win 10 games in a row when they're eliminated from the playoffs. Here is the beginning of Kimmel's. I'm just going to go through parts that I thought were kind of somewhat, not interesting, but just the stupidest, really. This is the audience when he, let's get his entire walk out here. Let's really get because he's back, There it is. There's the light. So, Charlie Kirk's funeral, some people had some criticisms for it, the grand nature of it, the rally aspect, which that's what it was. And if we have time, I'll talk about some of this, but that's exactly what it was. It was a rally. And based on how Charlie Kirk lived his life, it's probably the type of thing that he wanted, honestly. Even if for most of us it's a little bit kind of odd, seems to be what was right up his alley based on how he lived his life. But with that in mind, just think about this grand entrance. Well, no pyrotechnics or anything like that. Still, the guy took 2 days off. Here's his entrance. Jimmy Kimmel. It's a little joke they did there at the beginning.
From Hollywood, it's Jimmy Kimmel Live. Tonight, Glenn Powell and music from Sarah McLachlan with Cleto and the Cletones. And now, Jimmy Kimmel.
It took a long weekend. He slept in a couple days. And continue. This crowd could not contain their excitement. He's finally, this entire audience was like my dog when I get home after being gone for 3 hours. It's going to be a lot of pee in that studio to clean up after this show. I'm sure they had to screen people who came in. They're not going to let somebody like us go into this audience. No, nobody's allowed to. You probably literally get shot with a rubber dart. Okay, I know it's high tension, but they're not letting anybody in who is not going to agree to just jump up and down like a dipshit over a guy who literally had a short week last week. Back-to-back short weeks. And it was so obvious, too, in the way they were talking about it. Because they kept saying it's on hold or it's preempted or they never said he was canceled, even though the media said he's canceled. They're always, they left it out there. I was like, he's obviously not going to get fired. He's obviously going to come back. It's so manufactured. Who are these people that are there? Are they paying these people? Or are they just so happy that they can catch a glimpse of the side of their face as an extra? It's just crazy. It's like he survived an apocalypse, and he's been brought back to save an apocalypse somewhere else. They brought him back. You made it, Jimmy. You made it. Listen to how he opens here, which he plagiarizes.
Thank you. Anyway, as I was saying before I was interrupted.
Oh, where have I heard that before? Where have I heard Trump at his second appearance in Butler, Pennsylvania last year?
And as I was saying...
Oh, it's very similar. He rips off Trump. That's his writers. These are the writers. These are the writers. The media say, oh, his writers, they have families too. If you cancel Jimmy, you kill all those writers are dead. They're dead. They don't have any money. It's not just Jimmy. And that's all they could come up with is what Trump said last year. And he didn't even do it like he was mocking it. He could have mocked it, made a joke out of it, but yeah, it's like he didn't even know. You notice the cracking in his voice. It's already starting. He's like working himself up. Maybe the tears that you're going to see in a moment are real. But as an actor, he's getting himself there. He's working his way. What is he emotional about? Why is he about to start? He's going to cry. Spoiler. What is he so emotional about? So, Stoner, he was suspended. And look, when it first happened, I was like, that's not, it seemed like an obvious, like a setup to me. They suspended him because people complained that he implied that, or maybe just said directly, that the shooter of Charlie Kirk, who is alleged still, by the way, is anything. He said MAGA Trumpers are acting like the guy who shot Charlie Kirk is anything but one of them. So he said that it's like MAGA, while MAGA's like, no, he's leftist. So it was really just a stunt. Because he said far. He's been accusing January 6 people. He's been calling Trump a Nazi. He's been doing stuff for 10 years that are far more disprovable. We don't even know. We have a suspicion based on what kind of weird evidence we've gotten about this shooter. It's all very weird, and there's a lot of holes in it. And they jumped on it. They made it a big story, and they're probably going to... I'm a little surprised he didn't actually go out in a blaze of glory and force Disney to fire him so they could pay him. He kind of did a little bit, but they don't... I think Disney was like, let's do this. Let's do a PR stunt. Let's get a little bit of ratings here and there. And they've been trying to make him this martyr for free speech on the left, which is the weirdest thing ever. Because he's alive and he's perfectly fine and he's going to make more money off of all this. It's just really weird. It's almost just a dumbing down of propaganda. Let's make it really low effort. Let's see how dumb we can make it. I got to switch it back over here. All right, he continues.
Please be seated. I'm not sure who had a weirder 48 hours, me or the CEO of Tylenol. It's been over.
It's good. It's just like, somebody who goes through something and they get back and everybody has warm feelings. Everybody it has that vibe. But he didn't go through anything. He went through nothing. What do you think his past 4 or 5 days were like? You think he was struggling to survive? Oh, he was hanging out with his security guards and his family, probably by a swimming pool, probably drinking. He didn't just barely make it. Everybody's like, oh my God.
Overwhelming. I've heard from a lot of people over the last 6 days. I've heard from all the people in the world over the last 6 days. Everyone I have ever met has reached out 10 or 11 times. Weird characters from my past are the guy who fired me from my first radio job in Seattle, where we are not airing tonight, by the way. Sorry, Seattle. His name is Larry. In 1989, Larry tried to force me to do a bit called Jokes for Donuts, where people would call in with a joke and I would give them donuts. I refused to do it, and then I made a lot of fun of Larry for suggesting it, and eventually Larry fired me, and I had to move back in with my parents. But even he wrote in to cheer me up. Thank you, Larry. And
So Kimmel, this was revealed on CNN multiple times this week. Disney has these ad sales they do. They bring in all these corporations every year for this big conference where they're selling a bunch of ads, where they really make the big bucks. And at these corporate events, some of you have probably been to corporate events like this. I've done improv workshops with them. A lot of people getting drunk, and they're really trying to close deals with them. They bring in the entertainment to help close the deal. Every year at this event, I can't remember the name of it, but Jimmy Kimmel is the biggest event of the year for Disney when it comes to closing deals. Kimmel was the guy who would come in at the end and do a little bit and close the deal. So he's their closer on their biggest corporate event of the year, where they cash in on the ad contracts globally. He was never going anywhere.
I want to thank everyone who checked in. I would take all week to list all of them, but some that I do especially want to mention are my fellow late night talk show hosts, my friend Stephen Colbert.
Oh, yeah, Stephen, Mr. Vaccine Dancer.
In this predicament. My friends Jon Stewart, Seth Meyers, Jimmy Fallon.
Great guys.
Oliver,
Great, virtuous guys.
Jordan, Arsenio, Kathy, Wanda, Chelsea,
everybody.
Jay reached out. I heard from late night hosts in other countries.
Johnny Carson from the dead.
Ireland and from Germany. The guy in Germany offered me a job. Can you imagine? This country has become so authoritarian. The Germans are like, come here. Come loose. My boyhood idols, Howard Stern and David Letterman, were very considerate and kind, and I feel
Howard Stern was his boyhood idol.
Honored to be part of a group of people that knows what goes into doing a show like this. And I also want to thank all of you.
All right, here come the waterworks.
Who supported our show, cared enough to do something about it, to make your voices heard so that mine could be heard. I will never forget it. And maybe...
What did he win? This is a Lifetime Achievement Award. What did he win?
Maybe most of all, I want to thank the people who don't support my show and what I believe, but support my right to share those beliefs anyway. People who I never would have imagined.
Yeah.
Like Ben Shapiro, Clay Travis, Candace Owens, Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, even my old pal Ted Cruz, who, believe it or not, said something very beautiful.
He really raced through the Candace Owens. Somebody needs to clip that one. Of course, it doesn't matter what he does. He can be. It's never. He's like, for some reason, he's bulletproof. Probably because of the ads that or the corporate contracts he gets for Disney.
On my behalf.
I hate what Jimmy Kimmel said. I am thrilled.
It's pretty funny.
Believe it or not, said something very beautiful on my behalf.
I hate what Jimmy Kimmel said. I am thrilled that he was fired.
Oh, wait, no, not that. the other part.
But let me tell you, if the government gets in the business of saying,
What you
we
can
don't
and can't
like
say.
what you, the media, have said, we're going to ban you from the airwaves if you don't say what we like. That will end up bad for conservatives.
I don't think I've ever said this before, but Ted Cruz is right. He's absolutely right. This affects all of us, including him. I mean, think about it. If Ted Cruz can't speak freely, then he can't cast spells on the Smurfs. Even though I don't agree with many of those people on most subjects, some of the things they say even make me want to throw up. It takes courage for them to speak out against this administration, and they did, and they deserve credit for it. And thanks. For telling their followers that
Does it takes courage? Look where he is. Look where all of the people who speak out against the administration are any of them being silenced? That was one thing I noticed last week when they're like, nobody's going to be able to, even though, setting aside the fact that they acted like Kimmel was somehow equivalent to Charlie Kirk, who got shot in the neck and killed. Jimmy Kimmel, even using the exact same language. Charlie Kirk's voice silenced. A few days later, Jimmy Kimmel's voice silenced. Charlie Kirk won't be the last one. A few days later, Jimmy Kimmel won't be the last one. We're all Charlie Kirk. A few days later, we're all Jimmy Kimmel. Literally the exact same language. I took screenshots of it. It's on my Twitter. They just copied the language and said, he's our Martin. It's crazy. For somebody who is an authoritarian who doesn't let anybody speak, and Trump sure has a lot of loud critics. I don't think anybody should be kicked off the air. So I agree with that, but clearly nobody has been kicked off the air. In this instance, anyway. Definitely not like during COVID.
government cannot be allowed to control what we do and do not say on television, and that we have to stand up to it. I've been hearing a lot about what I need to say and do tonight, and the truth is, I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way. I have many friends and family members on the other side who I love and remain close to, even though we don't agree on politics at all. I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't, ever. And also, selfishly, I am...
So that is a change in what his message was from his joke, where he said that it was one of MAGA who did it. So he took the instructions from his bosses. But this whole thing feels to me like it was designed in the beginning. Let's do a little PR stunt, exploit this situation. The Trump administration, I don't know if it's like, yeah, we'll help you make a few bucks. Let's go, yeah, we'll go get the FCC guy. I have no idea. But is his sympathy real here? I don't know. I'm not in a position to judge that. But this whole stunt of making him a martyr and now making him a guy who's a hero who survived the greatest attack on free speech in history, even though somebody got shot in the neck for it the week before. And now he's the guy who is the sympathetic communicator. His message there, I certainly don't disagree with, but just this little narrative and story, and him being this figure to carry it through is just, it's extraordinary to me. It's just such a manufactured story. None of this should be, Jimmy Kimmel should not be the center of any story right now. Nobody should care at all about Jimmy Kimmel, other than his family and the 2 or 3 people that actually think he's funny. Yeah, give him a Nobel Prize, Stoner.
Gets a lot of threats. I get many ugly and scary threats against my life, my wife, my kids, my coworkers because of what I choose to
JC says Jimmy Kimmel's crying on TV, take away my rights. That's hilarious.
say. And I know those threats don't come from the kind of people on the right who I know and love. So that's what I wanted to say on that subject. But I don't want to make this about me because, and I know
you don't?
people say when they make things about them, but I really don't. This show is not important. What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this.
All right, so then he goes into the free speech stuff, and he repeats the stuff that we've heard, and he cites Ted Cruz and all that. And let me see. Then he talks a little bit about the network. Like he's giving his Oscar speech here. Let's see. All right.
The show the way we want to do it for almost 23 years. I've done almost 4,000 shows on ABC. And over that time, the people who run this network have allowed me to evolve and to stretch the boundaries of what was once traditional for a late night talk show, even when it made them uncomfortable, which I do a lot. Every night, they've defended my right to poke fun at our leaders and to advocate for subjects that I think are important by allowing me to use their platform, and I am very grateful for that. With that said, I was not happy when they pulled me off the air on Wednesday. I did not agree with that decision, and I told them that, and we had many conversations. I shared my point of view. They shared theirs. We talked it through, and at the end, even though they didn't have to, they really did.
We talked it through, and we decided what a PR opportunity. What a great opportunity we have to get some ratings here. And you know what? Maybe we're mad at you, but we're going to turn you into our martyr. And let's pull a ridiculous stunt. What do you say? That's more along the lines of the conversations that I expect happened. I don't expect anything that he's saying or anything that the people from Disney said happened about this back and forth. They, from the very beginning, evidenced by the fact that he is crucial in their biggest event, corporate event of the year, gaining those ad contracts with his performance. They weren't going to get rid of him. This was a come together, let's do a little PR strategy. That's exactly what this was. And maybe the administration, I don't know, maybe like, hey, we can do a little fight here. And we can both benefit, can make you look like you're tough, like you're going to crack down, even though actually there'll be no impact, but there can be the rhetoric around it. And then we'll also pump your ratings up a little bit and make you look like you've done something. And make you, Disney, look like you decided after upon second thought that you are going to stand up to the authoritarian. Courtney says, where is it? Why did we decide that we were going to give a shit about a TV host losing their job? This has happened a million times before, and no one ever cared before. This is Lord Kimmel, Courtney. This is Lord Kimmel of Disney. And Trump's, thug FCC head threatened on a podcast with a grifter, and maybe you should shut the fuck up. You're gonna get kicked off the air. Which he has Robert De Niro come on at the end of this and play. Robert De Niro hasn't been intimidating since Casino in '95. Robert De Niro is gonna come play a fucking tough guy. You want to shut the fuck up? You get off of my network. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Didn't have to. This is a giant company. We have short attention spans, and I am a tiny part of the Disney Corporation.
You're just a tiny part of it.
And I thank them for that.
Shut up, you dipshit. All right, here's the one thing that, and I know Trump's speech at Kirk's funeral and Erica's speech, they were, I think, very intentionally appealing to different groups of people, Republicans especially. But he does say something here that I certainly agree with, even if there is a propaganda angle to it. I think it's the right message. Let me see here.
Letting these politicians tell us what they want and tell them what we want.
Yeah, he was scary to meet the parents. I agree. Future Nobel Prize winner. Kimmel.
There was a moment over the weekend, a very beautiful moment. I don't know if you saw this on Sunday. Erica Kirk forgave the man who shot her husband. She forgave him. That is an example we should follow. If you believe in the teachings of Jesus, as I do, there it was. That's it. A selfless act of grace, forgiveness from a grieving widow. It touched me deeply. And I hope it touches many. And if there's anything we should take from this tragedy to carry forward, I hope it can be that, not this. So thank you for listening.
And I completely agree with that. I hope that none of this other stuff, none of this Kimmel stuff, none of this other not ridiculousness is what people take away from it. I hope what is taken away from it is you don't have to. Forgiveness doesn't mean letting off the hook. I know there's a lot of conversation about that after she said that during her husband's funeral, and then Trump said, "I don't forgive, I hate him." People were saying, "Was the difference in forgiving spiritually and justice from the state?" And obviously, but that's not what the impact of that is. And you can look around on X and you can see is what Erica said, which I do agree with, and obviously there's going to be a lot of anger you have. And by the way, we should say this, regardless of what you believe about who did it, everybody seems to be talking as though this person, Tyler Robinson, whatever his name is, has been convicted. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty, especially when we have some very weird evidence. Some of the linchpin evidence that we have, say, have a DNA evidence on a trigger. That DNA evidence was gathered rapidly. That rapid DNA testing is not good evidence in court. Oftentimes, it's not even admissible in court. It's a longer DNA gathering process, which takes weeks, which they would not have gotten back yet. So that stuff is only used for getting a probable cause warrant. And then you have the confession where he lays everything out, this awkward, weird text messaging chain. So if we accept that as true, and if they accept that as true, at the very minimum, surface level, let's accept it, then his boyfriend or whatever, his roommate/lover, is also going to get arrested. Unless this person is an informant or they were a honeypot. There's no other explanation, because that weird text message chain, he says, "Hey, remember when I was engraving bullets?" So that shows foreknowledge. "Hey, my dad," it all shows foreknowledge. And I have a story about that, actually, where this guy apparently has not been seen. This guy or girl, whatever it is, has not been seen since the police took, I'm talking about the lover, that person away a few weeks ago. And we'll get to that in a second. But the guy is still innocent until proven guilty. Due diligence, we don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened. There's a million different theories that I think is designed to confuse people and make people go crazy. But nevertheless, the message, the way that I took it, and I don't care if it's meant that way, but whoever did it, there's people on the right who are declaring war on social media, usually big accounts that will then trickle down to smaller accounts. And I've literally seen people advocating violence for that. And I think that to have a message of forgiveness is good. Then you have Trump come out there and Trump says, I don't forgive them. And when people say that's about the state punishing somebody who violated a law, well, Trump said he doesn't forgive his enemies, the left, the radical left, the left, the radical left. He clumped them together. And look, I'm not a fan of the left. There's no doubt about that. But not everybody who's a Democrat, and not everybody who is the left is the radical left. And not everybody who's a Democrat or the left, because there was no concrete definition given, not all of them were celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. In fact, most of them were not celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. A very small number of them were. They got amplified on social media because that's what goes viral, the most extreme stuff. And they do it because they see their leader influencer on their side, and they copy them because they want to go viral too. They're giving the signal, this is what we do. They're brainwashed. And they shouldn't be doing it. And I don't care that some of them lost their jobs, especially if they're in positions where they have like a nurse or doc, where they have people that are vulnerable. I'm not getting in on making a database or anything. But what do you expect when you make something like that? People don't expect anything because they're not thinking past the moment. They're thinking, I want to go viral. I'm so addicted to social media. But what we see is not the majority. And to have these very vague definitions of left, radical left, I don't forgive me, and then you have people over here who are being influenced by bigger accounts. Also, the bigger accounts on the right are also in the majority who are calling for war and civil war and whatnot. But there are some of them. And the idea with this propaganda is to make it manifest and spread and then, go offline into the real world, as it did a little bit at some of the vigils. And people who see that message, I'm talking about from the right now, what does that mean? I would encourage anybody who is in that camp. This is war. What does that mean? And do you have the same definition of war that other people who you have seen declare the same thing might have? Because when things like that are not defined concretely, then the most extreme definition of that, you are going to be clumped in with. So you might see it as simply exposing somebody who celebrated Kirk's death, while somebody in the other extreme might see it as, I'm going to go hunt out and violently attack people who I view as another undefined thing, left. And so then you're categorized as what might be the worst or most extreme of this group. This is how propaganda works. You keep things vague so that you can define everybody as the worst of a certain group. And that extreme, just like it does with all the messaging that takes over, pulls people that way because they're always the vocal, the most out there. They do the things that get the most attention. And I would just ask yourself, what does that mean to say this is war? Because the big accounts that are influencing a lot of people to post similar messages, and you saw conflicting messages like this all throughout his funeral. Some people were spiritually forgiving. Others were, this is war. I mean, it was like back and forth the whole time. And I would define exactly what you mean for yourself and outwardly, because if you say the same thing some of these other people say, you're going to get interpreted as the most extreme. And the people who are influencing everybody to say it, they're not going to be the ones actually on the front lines, because they make a lot of money provocateuring things by saying things like that. They'll be far, far away. That's how it always works. The organizer is always far, far away. The Stacey Abrams is always far, far away, eating a Baconator on her very sturdy throne in the sky, still wobbling and about to break. And for the left, I stop being retarded. If you're making videos and shit, you don't have to fucking say, oh, I gotta say what I gotta say about all this information about Charlie Kirk that isn't even full or complete information or not even true. Shut up. Well, I have free speech, but think. Social media gets us to not think. I know a lot of people who said a lot of things, not a lot of people, but who said things that are like disappointing to me. But I know that they're good people, but I also know how they're influenced by it. And I'm just like, man, everything that you think that is true about him is not true. There's a lot of things that I thought were true about him that weren't true. That's not saying that Turning Point USA and what they do was not. I mean, there is a strategy there of clip farming, but I've done it myself. I've gone out and interviewed people for the purpose of being silly and getting silly clips to put montages together. That's what people do nowadays. So to say that, it's just like my position on all of it is, I know I've said this a lot, is I don't even care if all the worst things about somebody that people say are true. For me, if I hate that person, I don't hate anybody. I really don't. I hate what people do. But like, if it's the person who I see as my enemy, I don't care if all the worst things are true. I still don't want him to die, and I'm still never going to celebrate anybody's death. It's all these justifications in between, I think, are beside the point. Baconator's a good burger. The Big Kahuna Burger. Love the Big Kahuna. That's my favorite movie, Pulp Fiction. It is a tall order. Tall order for a short bus. Stop being retarded is. I saw, let me see if I can find it. Change up the tone a little bit here. The aspirin order. Of course, everybody had the jokes today. Remember Quantum Leap? Not the new one. Not the new one where there's a trans character. Have you seen the new Quantum Leap? It's awful. Quantum Leap, retarded. All right, so somebody posted this. I don't have the exact meme that they put with it, but they posted with this Quantum Leap, this original Quantum Leap clip. They said, when I found out my mom took aspirin when I was a baby, and this is the clip they shared with it.
I'm retarded?
Sorry. Stop. I can't believe they used to make TV like this. I mean, that guy got paid a lot of money, okay? Look, and they zoom in, they keep zooming in.
I'm retarded?
God. All right, so look, there's a lot of actors who have Down syndrome, and I don't mean to laugh at that. It's just I can't believe that used to be stuff that was on TV. Things have changed. That actor made a lot of money. Day rate back then was at least $900 a day, and he had lines, so he wasn't an extra. He was in the whole episode. He made thousands of dollars. Just don't feel bad for him. Yeah, I haven't seen Lethal Weapon, the TV series. Have you guys seen the new Naked Gun? Make retarded funny again. That's right. All right. So after this, he starts talking about reproductive rights. He starts talking about all the progressive talking points. So it's just an ad for every progressive talking point and stopping authoritarianism. Here, I'll show you the De Niro part. It's really easy to do a monologue like he's doing when you go out knowing that everybody is going to love you either because they're told they have to or because you just know you have an audience that's right up your alley.
Reached out to the chairman of the FCC, Brendan Carr, and he has, to his credit, agreed to join us from his office in Washington. And here he is now. Thank you, Chairman Carr, for being with us tonight.
Robert De Niro.
You tell Whoopi over there she better show a little respect, or the only view she's getting is from under George Washington. The bridge, not the guy.
Excuse me, sir? Yeah, hi. It's...
Well, what is this? You sneak up on me? You don't sneak up on a person. It's not nice.
He can't even. I mean, the timing's off. He's what is he, like 85 now? Nothing wrong with that, but come on, this is an awful bit.
Sorry, what is your name? Because I was expecting to talk to the chairman of the FCC.
You don't need to know my name, and I am the new chairman of the FCC.
Probably in a high chair.
Appointed FCC chairman by Donald Trump?
Sir Trump, yes. I used to do some work for the man here and there in Atlantic City.
But did I just hear you on the phone threatening Whoopi Goldberg?
No, I would never threaten Miss Goldstein. I was just teaching her a lesson about consequences.
Does that mean she's Jewish?
Well, pardon me for saying so. Maybe you're the wrong guy to talk to, but it seems like the FCC is using mob tactics to suppress free speech.
What the did you just say to me?
I didn't mean any offense. You know, you can't curse or we'll get fined by the FCC.
I am the FCC. I can say whatever the I want. No.
Well, it sounds a little like threats and intimidation to me, Chairman.
Stop that. Stop that. It's just me, Jimmy, the chairman of the FCC, gently suggesting that you gently shut the up.
But you can't say that. That's a violation of free speech.
Oh, yeah, about that. Speech, it ain't free no more.
What? It's not free no more?
Yeah, we're charging by the word now.
You're charging by the word? How much are you charging?
It depends on what you want to say. Like, you want to say something nice about the president's beautiful, thick yellow hair, or how he can do his makeup better than any.
All right, so this kid goes on and on. It's bad. But yeah, that's how he brought De Niro. Because, De Niro will do anything. I feel like De Niro is a true believer when it comes to disliking Trump. So that was a good portion of Kimmel's return. I'm sure the ratings will be great. He should retire now. So, moving on. Conspiracy bait. A lot of theories about Charlie Kirk's killer, what happened. As I mentioned earlier, overwhelming amount of theories, actually. In fact, let me read Kash Patel's post. Some of you guys saw it, I'm sure. Here's what Kash Patel, our FBI director, posted yesterday in an update about the investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination. I'm going to skip down a little bit. He assures us he's committed to it. And then he says, they're going through every facet of the assassination. We are meticulously investigating theories and questions, including the location from where the shot was taken, the possibility of accomplices, the text message confession, and related conversations, Discord chats, the angle of the shot and the bullet impact, how the weapon was transported, hand gestures observed as potential signals near Charlie at the time of his assassination, which all they'd have to do is interview his security guards to investigate that. And he goes on to say, and visitors to the alleged shooter's residence in the hours and days leading up to September 10th, 2025. So he hits like every theory. Well, not every. He hits maybe 40% of the theories that are going around online. Doesn't hit Israel, doesn't hit the underground tunnel or the camera bomb or the handgun shooter or the camera gun or the whole thing's a deep fake. He doesn't hit those, but he hits a good number of the conspiracies almost as a, okay, we hear you, placation type thing. And then he goes on to say that some of the details known today, while others are still being pursued to ensure every possibility is considered, our primary focus is to complete this investigation and deliver justice. To protect the integrity of the investigation and subsequent prosecution, we cannot rehearse every piece of information or release every piece of information to the public that we have right now, obviously. So you have more. We will ensure every question is addressed. Every question, you're going to ensure every question is addressed. I want to hear him address the question of, is it all a deep fake? I would love to hear him address that question. Which, deep fakes, it could. Who am I to say? I wasn't there. Regarding the specific details, such as questions about the plane that allegedly turned off its transponder after departing from an airport near the assassination site, we can share updates when answers are confirmed. After interviews with the pilot and the consultation with the FAA, we determined that the transponder was not turned off. Incomplete flight data in rural areas caused the apparent gap. I'm sure that's really going to satisfy people's questions about that. The entire FBI mourns the loss of Charlie Kirk. We will not rest until justice is served. And our investigation into the assassination will continue until every question is answered. He also, the glaring question, if we accept their story, is the roommate. What's going on with the roommate? And let me tell you a story that just came out about the roommate. I don't know if any of it's true. I should premise it with that. Let me find it here. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, here's this also. I don't know if you saw this yesterday. Alleged Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson played Furry Shades of Gay porn video games online. Furry Shades of Gay. That's a game he played. It's on Steam, according to this. A Steam account with his name, shows he downloaded and played a dating simulator called Furry Shades of Gay, which describes itself as a game of love, queer relationships, hot gay sex, and slapstick humor. Furry Shades of Gay available on Steam. Let me get to that other. This was on Los Angeles freeway. It was on a building. Big image of Kash Patel looking very cross-eyed. I don't know why that would be going on. He's watching you, I guess. Maybe that's a joke somebody did. All right, this is the Daily Mail. So you can take this for what you will. Basically, I won't go through this whole story, but I'll kind of sum it up. The headline from the Daily Mail: Charlie Kirk's suspect's trans lover has vanished. Shaken neighbors share fresh fears as new photos show abandoned home. So they make it sound like vanished means he would just be disappeared in a different way than he already had. But what the article is about how the police came and got this guy shortly after the assassination, and he has not been back since. And his lights are still on, his car is still there, and apparently, this is a little bit of a weird part. There they are there. There's his car. There's inside of his car. Somebody's taking pictures. You've got a lot of stuff in there that doesn't look like something trans people would have. A lot of tools. By the way, he's a plumber. What looks like handwritten messages stuffed in the door of the alleged shooter and his alleged trans lover's door. They're just going to leave that there? There's handwritten letters there. They're just going to leave those. And who's like, well, let me put a handwritten letter here with this guy who I know. Who does that? Who's like, oh, shit, I know those guys. I better deliver them a handwritten letter. Don't tell them it was me. You keep my name out of your mouth. I got to go put this in their door. Laying down pipe seems legit. It's funny. Yeah, Cash is crazy, dude. It's not his wife, though. It's just his honeypot girlfriend. Who she swears she's not a honeypot. Cash's IDF girlfriend. She's dated a long line of bite-sized, cross-eyed Indians. She can prove it. She's not a honeypot. So, this article, hold on a second. Where does it say what he does? Because it actually gives information about this guy that is I hadn't seen before. It says they lived together for 3 years. I thought they had only lived together for a year. And they had a third roommate, according to this article. And this is according to the people who live nearby them, which one guy actually threatened to put him in a body bag if he comes back. I don't know if I'd be doing that personally. I probably wouldn't be threatening to kill someone. Okay. Lance Twiggs was led away for questioning by the cops. Shaken neighbors say the part-time plumber has not been back. One declaring good riddance. I never want to see either one of them again. If he ever comes back, he will be in a body bag, said a neighbor. A neighbor grimly predicted. Why would they? Oh, he's dead. We brought him back to the apartment in a body bag. You guys figure it out. What? That doesn't even make sense, neighbor. They're going to bring him back in a body bag. That's his plumbing gear. Twiggs, this is the boyfriend, trans boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, studied at Utah Tech University, that's the school, worked part-time as a plumber. He also aspired to be a gamer and was a fanatical player of Apex Legends, Valorant, and Rocket League. According to a Twiggs family member who wished to remain anonymous, he was evicted by his parents for breaching their religious rules. The family member claimed that Twiggs had wrongly been portrayed as soft by the media. Candace, what's her name, said some of this stuff too. So I don't know if this comes from her as their source, which if it does, I would question. I would rather hear it from them personally. He was a drug user who almost overdosed, turned up at a family Easter clearly high, spouting political slogans, and was addicted to the deep web, corners of the internet that can be, yeah, we know it is. He is full evil and hatred, admitted a second family member when approached by local news. Second family member is evil, full of hatred. Well, why won't they put their names out there? You think he can't figure it out? Why are you remaining anonymous here? At a moment when putting your name on the record is not going to put you in any more danger and is vitally important, unless the police are telling them not to do it. I imagine if this is true, then the police are telling them to not speak publicly. He's not a healthy person. He's very angry. He's very angry with anyone who's supportive of conservative ideals and Christian values. Well, that's very on the nose. On Reddit, Twiggs claimed to have struggled with bulimia and made jokes about being beaten by his mother. I'm not laughing. That's not funny. I'm not. It's just so ridiculous. It's like every line is more ridiculous than the next. He wrote in one thread that he'd been recommended treatments for schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and a brain tumor through targeted social media advertisements. So the algorithm was like, we think you have a brain tumor. Do you feel like maybe you have a brain tumor? Come to Brain Tumor Doctors of Kennesaw, Georgia. We'll soup out your brain tumor just like that. And for half the price of anybody else in town. Despite the apparent fallout with his parents and 3 siblings, his parents have continued to support their son via Venmo. So his parents are being, this is all weird. So if I accept any of that as true, again, I don't accept really anything they're telling us is true at this point, but it makes it sound like the trans was a honeypot. Kind of makes it sound like, so he was so seductive, he lured this kid in. He convinces him to do his thing against this person he hates. Maybe he's an Iranian agent. Who knows at this point? Iranian, Israel, Trump. Who knows who he could be working for? And then he just vanishes. That's what happens to potential suspects who are actually either informants or they were UCEs, undercover, online covert employees for the FBI or for foreign intelligence, is after their role is exposed, they vanish. So if we never hear from this guy again, then I would say entrapment as a defense if I were the suspect's lawyer. If we do, then we will hear from him again or her again, whatever it is, at trial because this lover, roommate, cosplay, furry shades of gay, teammate, will be testifying against the shooter at trial. Because the shooter's not cooperating. Without the shooter cooperating, other person who clearly knew what was going on, accepting all this nonsense is true. I'll cooperate, but I want immunity. That's probably what's going to happen, honestly. They're both seeking training for. Yeah, I want part of it to be that if the furry roommate / lover, furry shades of gay teammate does have to testify against the lover, that kind of seems, based on this story, it radicalized this shooter who has a weird thing with his dad also. That's another thing, if we accept it as true. I keep saying that because it's very... if this were a movie, it would be it'd be like, I don't know if I buy this. Should have to wear the furry outfit. Favorite furry outfit, should have to wear it while testifying. I want to see those courtroom sketches. I want to see Bunny, whatever they is, pointing the finger in their furry outfit. Which brings me to what I was going to talk about before the Kimmel thing happened, and then I'll do one other thing and then close after that. Is conspiracy bait, which part of my title was conspiracy bait with the trans honeypot, which I really don't think that's out of the question based on the narrative we're getting here. All of these things that we're getting, these theories, people are jumping on a different theory every single day on social media. And they're certain of it. A lot of them are grifters. A lot of them are on Stairmasters. Go, get my stairs in. Oh, look at this butt. Look at this thing over here. And it's just, and people are like, oh my God. And then the next day, it's like a different thing. And it's like, I'm doing push-ups. Just get my workout in. Look at this. It's bullshit from a lot of grifters, really, designed to pump up their ex profits. And maybe it's just grifters, probably not. Maybe it's just a product of modern society and the fact how publicized this whole thing was. It's probably a combination of everything, but the powers that be, the institutions who used to have trust over information from the people believed them, sure are not going to stop what's going on. They're not even going to try. They're going to feed into it. They're going to send people in to fuel it because they have lost trust. Over the past 5 years, who's gained trust? Podcasters, conspiracy-minded people have built trust. People go that way. The Davos conferences for the past 4 years have been about regaining trust. I played the clip from the one in 2021 where Klaus Schwab gets up there and he says, never before in the world has the people of the world been more united, and never before in the world have they distrusted us elites more. And then the whole objective of that little talk they did was, how do we rebuild trust in the controlling institutions of society? And then that's why you see people like Chris Cuomo and others step down from their jobs at CNN and others and go pretend to be podcasters in their basement like they're just by themselves when there's a bunch of people behind the camera. It's why we see them trying to be like us. And it's why I think in cases like this, they want to flood the zone with one theory after another that tickles our desire for conspiracy and a cover-up, which we all have that. We all want to dig deep and find out what's really going on. Because if they put a bunch of stuff out there that's easy to debunk, then that gives them the ability to discredit conspiracy-minded people and podcasters en masse. And then they can come out as the white knights. We're giving out the real info. I've seen this. And you know who's doing this the most right now? You know who is trying to make conspiracy theorists look bad the most right now? It's Fox News. It's Jesse Waters. It's Kimmel or whatever the hell his name is. It's those guys there who loved the conspiracy theorist up until Trump got elected. But now are condemning the conspiracy theorists for the Epstein stuff, for what's going, for the theories people have now. Bait is being put out there to try and get us to jump to conclusions en masse that they can then make us look stupid for shortly after. This is the rebuild. To rebuild the trust in them, they have to destroy the trust in us. And this is something I've talked about for years. Because I hesitate when my confirmation bias wants to dive into something to find all of the reasons that this theory I think is true. I stop myself because I know that that's the worst way to prove something to be true. It's the best way to prove something true that can be disproven. The way to prove something is to attack an argument or a theory that you have harder than the people who want to make you look awful will attack it. So that way, what will happen is all the theories that are weak will fall to the wayside and you will get to a deeper truth. And you will find answers that you would not have found had our confirmation bias controlled where it directed us initially. And we will be able to handle any freaking argument that they come at us with. And we have to be better than they are because they want to make us look awful. It is so easy with all the grifters and the social media and the videos and this and that. Yeah, great. We should look into that shit. But also, we should be open-minded that the things we want to be true initially might not be. Because that's the only way to prove them true. You know, I'm full of shit, right? Everybody's full of shit. But I'm serious about that. Nobody's perfect. Everybody gets shit wrong. People have to stop getting mad at each other when they don't agree with the freaking theory that you have. Like, everybody's not where somebody is. Make an argument. We need to make arguments. We want to beat them. We have to be better than them. They are trying to mess with us. Before I had to be like a nerd watching, like my mom watching public access shit, what WTF time is, and going to the library. That's what we got to get at the library. Oh, yeah, I got a courtroom sketch. I meant to get to that. So that's my conspiracy, but I don't mean to get on my high horse. I say it because I find myself thinking that I have a theory I've believed like 10 different theories. I try not to like say I believe one for certain unless I'm very obvious that I'm being speculative about it. Like maybe the guy's a trans, but I don't know. That's nothing I can prove. People getting mad at like infighting among conspiracy theorists because you'll believe my theory of your theory. It's what they want us to do. It's how they discredit us and how they fucking say, trust us. We have suits on and a big network. So the guy who shot or who kind of shot at Trump, I guess. Did you guys see? Did you guys see this? What's the guy's name? Hold on, I'll find it. Ryan Routh. Ryan Routh. He was a very, very awful person. He was convicted today. He tried to kill me. I was playing golf. Ryan Routh, who Trump was golfing in Florida last year. This is a guy that was in the woods, and he had been stalking Trump there. He'd been like waiting in the woods because he knew where Trump was going. He was convicted today. So he said, I don't need a lawyer. I'm going to go Ted Bundy and defend myself, even though I have no experience or knowledge about the law. And it went about the way you think it would. As he was convicted in about 2 hours by the jury. And after he was convicted, apparently in disagreement with what the verdict was, he then decided to try and stab himself in the neck with a pen or a pencil. I don't like it. He grabbed whatever, and then the security guys, the marshals, they tackled him to the ground and drug him out. No blood, which makes me think that that it was more performative. Because if you're trying to really stab yourself in the neck, how do you not get a jab in there before the marshals can get up? They're not that quick with their reflexes. But there is a courtroom sketch of this incident here. What are these courtroom sketch artists doing? What are they doing? There he is. Look how close the pencil, he got him just in the nick of time. And look at the haircut on this marshal, who has a very long arm. Look how long the arm is. I mean, that is like Plastic Man in the comics. It even looks like his suit shredded a little. He's to stop that pencil before it went in his. And apparently, Ryan Routh is John Kerry. Never seen them in the same room together. And I love how the artist signed it at the bottom, like he's going to sell it in an art shop. The artist's name is Lothar Spear. That's the sketch artist's name. Lothar Spear. That's what he goes by. Lotharspeer. Lothar, or is that, maybe that's not how you say Speer. Whatever, it's a weird name. And so Ralph, so here's how the evidence against Ralph. Yeah, Stretch Armstrong. Yeah, totally. This guy's got a mohawk. Like, I kind of think this marshal's a trans right here, to be honest with you, based on this. You can't really tell. I mean, Ryan Routh looks like he's about to do a campaign ad about swift boating. The evidence that was presented was a mountain of evidence, it says, including call logs, text messages, bank records, video surveillance, all things to keep in mind about the Charlie Kirk assassination. Maybe some of that stuff that Cash said they have to keep close to the vest now, which of course they do. Highlighting cell phone records from Ralph's burner phones. This is good. So, like, all the evidence that they got were from his burner phones, which means he clearly doesn't know how to use burner phones. A digital forensic expert showed cell phone data from Ralph in the vicinity of the golf club weeks before, including for 16 hours, beginning at 4 a.m. on the day that he was captured. A Google account from one of Ralph's burner phones, again, the burner phone, where he searched for Trump upcoming rallies. So you get the burner phone, you think you're invisible with the burner phone. You are clearly not invisible with the burner phone. He searched Palm Beach traffic cameras. You know what he should have searched? How secure are burner phones? That should have been his first search. It's probably one of those apps where you can get a burner number, but you got to give him your number, your email address, and your name along with it. I guarantee it that to activate that thing, he had to give all of his information. He's like, well, it's a burner phone. That would never give it up. What else did he search? He also searched directions to Miami Airport, flights to Mexico. He texted somebody, I may see you Monday. And he searched how to make a tourniquet. You know, I guess in case he got shot in the process of escaping. I'm sorry. This is that guy you saw the pictures of going to Ukraine to like want to fight. This poor guy. And he has kids too. didn't go to him. I go, Dad, what are you doing, Dad? Come on, Dad, come play with the grandkids. Come throw the baseball with me, Dad. They're kids. Like, Dad, why are you wrapped in a Ukraine flag with an AK? What are you doing right now? Oh, you're gonna go fight? Okay, let's get at it. Like they think he's cosplaying. First rule to Google how to use a burner phone when you get a burner phone. Oh my God. Oh, so this is kind of sad, actually. This guy's backstory, though, was very performative. He was always doing weird stuff to, like he was born too early. You know, he'd really thrive in modern day performative activism. Maybe even he'd be a Democrat elected politician, like an Adam Schiff before his time. So 12:55 on the day that he was arrested, when he was ready to open fire against Trump, he texted his daughter, Sarah, saying, "Love you so much. You're the best daughter." Then he texted his son at 12:56 saying, "You're so awesome, dude. Love you so much." Then he texted his other son, Oren, also at 12:56, saying, "Love you so much, man. You're so brilliant." I got to say, I'd be a little disappointed in the specificity of the compliment there between the two brothers. Of the 3 children that he texted, Oren wrote back to him, "Hey, love you too, Dad. What's up? Everything all right?" I guess the other 2 ignored his text. Oh my God, that's sad. I shouldn't laugh at that. I'm sorry. He is in a sniper's nest after having staked out a golf course for 16 hours using burner phones that are giving him no privacy. Because he found out through that burner phone, through a Google search on that burner phone, that Trump was going to be playing golf at Trump's golf course. And the last thing he did before getting ready to try and become John Wilkes Booth is he texted his 3 children that he loved them. And only one of the 3 texted back. Maybe he should have spent more time parenting and trying to be a war hero. One of the stories about him was him claiming to have saved somebody. I don't know if he actually did. If he did, good for him. I don't know. But this is a person who has some serious, I don't even, do you guys ever meet anybody like that? Usually people you meet who like behave like this, they're usually like, it's usually like somebody who lives on the streets. And they're just, it's sad, really. New phone. So there's a market for anybody who can come up with a product for burner phones for retards. All right, well. All right, so I'll do one more story. There, see you, John Kerry. No, I'm not going to do Trump stuck on the escalator. Trump telling, I guess we can watch that. It's probably funny. Trump telling the pregnant women to tough it out or whatever he said. It's funny.
Number of cases, I think. But if you can't tough it out, if you can't do it, that's what you're going to have to do. You'll take a Tylenol, but it'll be very sparingly. It can be something that's very dangerous to the woman's health. In other words, a fever that's very, very dangerous, and ideally a doctor's decision, because I think you shouldn't take it. And you shouldn't take it during the entire pregnancy. They may tell you that toward the end of the pregnancy, you shouldn't take it during the entire. And you shouldn't give the child the Tylenol every time he's born and he goes and has a shot. You shouldn't give a Tylenol to that child. It's a small.
Somebody needs to make a talking Trump Tylenol dispenser that monitors the number of Tylenol that is dispensed, and again, maybe, of course, you put a little facial recognition there because everything has that now. And he says, you can only take one today. You're not going to give one. He just it says everything that he says here. While it monitors how much Tylenol you and your child are taking. You've taken too many today. You're going to need to get doctor's permission to take another. And it has it in his little hands. Maybe he coughs it up. What is this? Oh, and then all the women who are taken, they're pregnant, they're like taken. What I thought was interesting about that is one of these girls who, like, one of the videos had like 300,000 views on X, but somebody had ripped the video from TikTok and shared it on their account, making fun of this girl. So getting all the X profits off of it. And then I went and found the girl's TikTok page that actually made it herself. She's only got 24,000 views. So somebody's making money off of ripping off her video. She could have put the video on X herself, made fun of herself, and been profiting. That's actually a good business model. Pretend, make a bunch of fake videos that the people on the right want to share and mock all the time, and then you make an account pretending like you're not yourself, and you just mock yourself. There's your profit model for X right there. Bizarre twist in the astronomer CEO, the Coldplay Kiss Cam. Apparently, they say that they were just friends, according to a friend of the family, or friend of the female, anyway, which is in a bullshit story. I would think that they were just friends. The story is that the HR lady who the CEO was hugging, that her husband, who they were separated, about to get divorced, was also there. So it sounds like they're swingers to me. And that they were just friends that were hugging and getting cuddly. Would have included that in your letter if I'm the CEO. So I'm going to call bullshit on that. And so the last story, I'm going to play it. It's about blackface. There's been a blackface incident in Atlanta. And it occurred at a volleyball game at a high school on blackout night. Teams do this thing where they say, we're going to do a whiteout, we're going to do a blackout to try and get uniformity through the crowd as like a we're going to win type thing. And it was a blackout night for this team. Couple of fans said, you know what, I'll do you one better. We're going to go full body. We're going to go full body head to toe paint. Do you get outraged for these people for understanding the assignment and excelling better than everyone else? Why punish someone for doing the thing better than everyone? They couldn't actually punish them because it was the family and friends of, they didn't go to the school. They were friends and family of one of the volleyball players on the team. They were there to support her, and they all went head to toe, mostly in black paint. You'll see part of an image here. And they spelled the girl's name on there. Well, everybody had a letter. And what's interesting is that when you look, I'm not going to show the uniforms of the players because I don't want to show a bunch of somebody's daughters on a show. But the uniforms are long black. The uniforms look exactly like these people look. Well, I'll let you guys decide what you guys think. If they went too far. Of course, there was outrage, by the way. It's always outrage. Why is this not showing? All right.
But first tonight, outrage and calls for change after a photo taken at a school volleyball game goes viral. The picture taken at Whitewater High School's volleyball game in Fayette County shows people with their faces and bodies painted black.
And now several families and local leaders are calling it offensive and an example of blackface. 11 on Live's Galat Malamed is live outside the Fayette County School Board where Well, the meeting just wrapped up a short time ago, so Gallant, did the district respond to this tonight?
The superintendent did apologize for the incident at tonight's meeting. Families, though, are questioning how this group was let into the building in the first place and want to make sure this does not happen again.
It's just demoralizing, dehumanizing.
Several Fayette County schools' parents and community members are outraged after a photo circulated online of 5 people at a Whitewater High School volleyball game last.
So you see it there. It's not showing at all. The actual image, the two on the right here, their entire face is black, like dark black. So there's, if I were with that group, I'd be like, all right, we're gonna be a little provocative, but also they still were within the realm of the assignment.
Last week with their face and bodies painted black. Adrian Cooley has 2 daughters at the
See, they're not going to show the uniforms. They actually look exactly like the uniforms.
School.
Well, let me tell you, if you've never had a blackface incident at your child's school, you don't know the pain I felt when I saw that picture.
Picture drew the
Wait, so the pain that he felt, you think his daughter cared? You think his daughter gave a shit?
attention of Democratic State Rep Derrick Jackson.
This is not cute. This is not fun.
And local
these people love, and by these people I mean activists. They love these opportunities to go out and do activist shit. This is what their job is every day. They look for stuff like this, so they're as happy about it as anyone else, and they're going to find racism in anything they can.
NAACP leaders. They say the picture is an example of blackface and it is causing pain for families in Fayette County.
What about black
I got a
leg?
notice that said, oh, they had a blackout game.
So is somebody painting? Oh, the picture is an example of blackface. Or is the act an example of black? What about the leg? Is that blackface? What about the abdomen? Is that black? What about a little bit on the arms? What about underneath the eye? Are those all blackface, or is there different specifications?
Blackout just simply means wearing black, not on your face, because that in itself is offensive.
During public comment, this man read a statement on behalf of the people in the picture. He says it was a blackout-themed game and they were there to support a Whitewater player whose name they spelled out on their chests.
There was no racial intent behind the actions. As soon as those involved came out, administration asked them to remove it from their faces, and they did so willingly. They apologized to anyone that was offended.
Fayette County Superintendent.
Oh, they cut off what he had to say. That's bullshit.
Jonathan Patterson says a non-Whitewater High School student is in the picture along with several adults.
We want to state clearly it is never acceptable to paint one's face black.
Somebody should edit this video to where this judge has blackface on while he's reading this right now.
This action is deeply offensive, and it does not reflect the values of our schools and our community.
He says they were quickly addressed by administrators when they entered, though the district regrets letting them in the first place.
They let them in!
For the pain it caused.
They let them in!
Moving forward, we are committed to ensuring this does not happen again.
Because they didn't see it as a problem until some activists and a state representative here in Georgia said, that's a problem. So it wasn't a racial issue until a bunch of activists who had an opportunity to benefit politically by being divisive came in and told them it was.
Unclear if the adults in the picture are connected to Fayette County schools. The local NAACP leaders here say they want the district to review the code of conduct to try and prevent something like this from happening again and to discipline the people in that picture. The superintendent says they will review that code.
They don't go to the school. You can't discipline them.
They're also going to train staff so that they can properly address situations like this in the future.
Train staff to properly... So train staff to see racism and things that could be interpreted as following the instruction. Let's win tonight. It's blackout night, just like Georgia Tech was whiteout. Virginia Tech does blackout. They suck the fun out of everything. And I don't know if anybody was trying to intentionally be racist, but I would say that if somebody was going to go support their family member or friend in their volleyball game, and spell their name across all, everybody has a letter, I would think that they probably wouldn't want to ruin their friend's night by becoming the story by doing something racist. So I would start with common sense. And who cares? It clearly didn't bother anybody who was there. It didn't become a thing until afterwards. And I know I don't care, personally, that this, I don't know this guy's name, but this is funny. What's it? Drewski. His name is Drewski, and he's a black guy who dresses up as, he goes full white face, white body, and he goes around acting like a redneck, and it's funny. I think it's very funny. I mean, he looked.
Here's the love, here's the honor. If you can't come in her, come on her.
I mean, he looks like a white guy. That's great makeup.
Hey, Suanna. Suanna.
She's not listening.
He's
Come
got
on, you need
some
to listen
old,
to your nana. Go ahead, baby.
he got some old lady on his lap.
Girl, you crazy tonight.
Oh my God. They just spit in front of a black guy walking by.
Hey, me mom. How you doing, baby?
Probably knew that guy.
All right now.
He had the tan lines painted in.
Hey, you lost, boy? No, I'm going to the race. What race? NASCAR race. You going to NASCAR? Yes, sir. A little bit. You ain't lost, is you? No, I'm good. I'm going to the race, sir.
He
Sure
probably
about
knows
that?
guy. He's laughing at it. Yeah, he knows who
Find
he is.
something safe to do, boy. Yeah. If liquor don't kill us, pussy must. Oh, that fucker will go. I see. Dan Arthur.
Randy Van Devon.
Dan Arthur. Oh, South Dakota.
Yeah.
Damn right. Proud to be American.
My guess is he had that camera crew there. There's probably people who knew who he was because he's done this before. That's why I think those black guys he was messing with were laughing. I think they knew who he was. But I don't know anybody who's would be. I know there's an article saying there's backlash. I don't know where's their backlash from. Who cares? Who's offended by that? Who gives a shit? Soder says it would be great if this dude had the backbone to speak out against what happened to those blackface kids. He probably doesn't know about it. This is a local Georgia story that didn't get much attention. Certainly didn't make it to Kimmel. And I would be surprised. Maybe Kimmel will cover it. But then Kimmel might have to face questions about his own blackface history, except that he never does. Who cares? Who cares? That's the whole point is, who cares? Activists who stand to gain. That's all. Those are the only people that care. Propagandafight.com, youtube.com/Brad Binkley, link in bio at Freedom Act Radio on X if you want to support the show by becoming a subscriber and get access to the show that Austin Picard and Sam Tripoli and I do called Whatever This Is. You can get access to that at patreon.com/propaganda report and propreport.com/locals or propreport.locals.com, whatever it is on locals, where you get whatever this is episodes. There's 30 of them now, as well as you get the audio version of the show ad free. I take the ads out for those who subscribe. And if you don't want to subscribe, then and you're listening on audio, let the ads play through. We don't get anything if the ads play through. It helps us out. I try to put them at the beginning and at the end, sometimes maybe one in between, but I try to kind of concentrate them there so they aren't too intrusive. So it does help us out if you let those play through. Instagram.com/propaganda report, and smash that like button, share it with friends, leave a 5-star review if you like it, and a comment that warms my heart. And you can also tip on these platforms as well. All of your support and your interactions help. Thank you for hanging out, Stoner, for the late night. I appreciate it. It's always good to see you. And Courtney and everybody who's in the chat, I do appreciate it. It always warms my heart when I'll do like a late night show, and there's still, you guys are, some of you guys are night owls like me. And we can chat and hang out. All right, guys. We'll do it again next time. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your day. Love you guys.